Oh, it's party time, Mom. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. It is Tuesday, which means it is Monday's hangover. I refuse to change clothes. I'm on week 2 with this hoodie. And I think mostly it's just me expressing my freedom now that Chris Cruz isn't around to tell me what to do.
Yeah. Were you saying Chris was giving you fashion advice?
Yeah, well, that's a horrible thing when you think about it. With Chris, the idea that Chris would give me fashion advice, but every now and then he'd be like, you need to change clothes because you got to do another show. And then I'm like, you know what? There's something Freudian and weird going on because I've been wearing Crocs too.
Well, now you just kind of might have proved him right.
I might not. I mean, he wears Crocs every day of his life. Well, I've never seen Chris not wearing Crocs.
He's got a look.
Well, I'm just lazy. And
that's the Crocs look, pretty much. I think that's the tagline.
Yeah, pretty much. So I got my camo Crocs going on here, Brandon, and I just don't want to put boots on. I wore boots all weekend long, on the road. We were on the bus, 8 guys on the bus. I don't know if you guys. It's a real glamorous rock star life when you take off on a tour bus and. You know, I had to get up Friday morning at 4 and drive to Fort Worth from North Houston, so that was 3.5 hours, and get on a tour bus with 7 other men and go to Amarillo, which ain't close. So that was about 9 hours total on the road that day, and 8 hours at least. And then we did a show in Amarillo. And then got up the next day and went to Abilene, which is about 3.5 hours on the bus. Did another show there, and then as soon as that show was over, at 1 o'clock, we loaded up and we were rolling towards Fort Worth. So we got to Fort Worth about 4 in the morning, Sunday morning. It was brutal. It just, So this whole week is probably just going to be pretty chill for me. Before I get on an airplane Friday morning and fly into Arkansas. I'm flying into Arkansas and then driving up to Joplin, Missouri, and to do the show there at the Roxy Friday night with the boys to kick off the Buck Wild Comedy Tour. One of the things that I love about this new comedy tour, we're not doing real big rooms. I think there's room for maybe 500-600 people in every one of these rooms we're doing. So all of them are kind of up close and personal. Every one of them will be, big sold-out shows in that regard. They'll be big in that they are sold out, not big in terms of the quantity of people that are in there. So it's cool. We're going to be able to have some fun with you. And it won't be too much of any one of us, right? Like, we'll see if Jesse Payton's able to kick things off and stay within 30 minutes. I've never seen him be able to keep time. Dustin Sims and I, we will do our time. We'll do our 30 minutes and get out of there because we like to go to the bar. And then Zach, he's long-winded, so y'all are stuck with him at the end. He's Zach Rushing. He doesn't shut up real quick. So y'all will be stuck with him, and we'll be down the street at the bar. But these hoodies, they're Unapologetic Outdoors. This and all of our Unapologetic Outdoors line stuff been selling like crazy at the live shows, and so it's the only place you can get them right now because I don't have a store. We've got realwomensclub.com, but technically that's not mine. All of my merch has been pulled down. Those of you who say that I just exist to sell merch, I haven't sold merch in 5 months, not mine. So, and I do live to sell merch. I love selling merch. Don't get me wrong. I do love selling merch. There's nothing. I love selling T-shirts. But it's weird, man. Like, I can't find. Nobody really wants to hustle. Nobody wants to do business. I'm one of those guys. I wake up with new ideas every day, and it's like, let's run with these ideas. Let's do this. And then people want to drag their feet. They want to sit back and talk about, what you can't do, or it's going to cost this or whatever. I'm like, screw that, man. You do it right. You get in there. It'll pay for itself. You got to spend money to make money. And I'm talking to you guys out there in the audience, those of you who are thinking about starting a business or you kind of got this entrepreneurial streak or whatever, get out there and do it, man. You don't know. You might be sitting on $1 million idea and you're letting laziness or fear rob you of that thing. Get out there and do it. You do not know what's going to manifest in your life until you launch that thing out there. It could be something as simple as putting something on a T-shirt, a little phrase on a T-shirt. You never know. You never know. Chip Gaines, regardless of what you think of the Magnolia folks, Chip and Joanna down there in Waco, I think whenever Hurricane Harvey hit and he just put out that Texas Forever T-shirt, and that's all it says, Texas Forever, I think he raised like $26 million off of that one T-shirt or something like that. Now, granted, that's Chip Gaines. But you know what? 15 years ago, you didn't know who Chip and Joanna Gaines were, right? And they just started, tearing down houses and fixing them back up, and now they're a household name in regards to that. So you never know. Crazy ideas. That's why CJ and I make sandwiches and put them on social media. Never know. I like sandwiches. So we do this kind of stuff. And you might grow up and be Josh Jennings one day. I see you sitting over there. Only if you're lucky. But trust me when I tell you, the world's going to work against you. The world's going to work against you. And there's no sense of justice out here in the world anymore. All you got to do is look at these, what were they called? The largely peaceful protests there in Atlanta. And I was told that, the opposition like Antifa, I heard that they didn't exist. Like that's not a real thing. Joe Biden even said he didn't even know what that is. Doesn't know who they are, So we got a little clip there. Play that very first one, Fox 5 Atlanta. Play that clip of those violent riots in Atlanta.
Hey, can you guys hear us? State trooper was injured in a shooting, and if you're taking a look at video now, I can hear it in my ear. That is just some of the moments that you could see that protesters are throwing bricks at what I believe to be the Atlanta Police Foundation. Oh, hey, turn around. Can we go back? Someone actually, it looks like one of the Atlanta police.
Okay. Again, play the next clip now.
Take a look over here. If you pan over, I want to show you. This is what they were handing out at that protest. So it was a largely peaceful protest where they just wanted what they're calling justice so sorry. And right now, you'll see. Basically, they want justice for him.
Okay, let's talk about this for a second. So it's a largely peaceful protest. They flipped over a cop car, set it on fire. They were throwing bricks through the windows there at the police foundation in Atlanta. The police finally got involved and kicked the shit out of them, which was kind of amazing to watch because I love violence. And especially when it's on, douchebags that decided to emerge from mom's basement and go out there and throw rocks through other people's windows. In the name of justice for who? We still can't pronounce his name. That's right. No, we want justice for guys, I'm sorry. Sorry, I just can't do it. I just can't say it. I just can't say his name. So, but we want justice for we want justice for that guy. I mean, that's what we want for him. Amazing piece of journalism right there. This is what they're handing out. They want justice for Oh, but don't worry. George Floyd is not forgotten. That's right.
I really enjoyed how he tried to use the piece of paper to cover up the fire behind him.
Yeah, holds it out there.
Yeah, which then backfired into him not being able to actually say the name.
Yeah, largely peaceful protest. Now, we don't want you to look at this window pane right here. We don't want you to see that one, the one that has the burning car in the middle of it. It's like he's out there trying to make friends. But Antifa, they were yelling, "I can't breathe," while getting arrested. Play that clip.
So you can hide it? So you can hide it? Make it quick so you can hide it? We all got it on video.
Our friends.
Clown show. I know she could breathe because I could hear her screaming. You got to put that knee right in the right spot. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible. Listen, I want you to tell me, honest question. I want you to name one Democrat-run city in America that's functional, that works, that's successful. Just name me one. You take off, head over to where podcasts are offered, leave a 5-star rating, and then in the review, I want you to tell me a Democrat-run, Democrat-led city in America. And tell me any city in America. The cities are gone. I mean, we need Snake Plissken to drop in, escape from New York, and rescue the president at this point in time. If you remember that movie, this is where we are. Build walls around them at this point, and just let the barbarians have it. Because the cities are gone. They are gone. If you live in a Democrat state, if you live in a Democrat city, get out. Get your family, load up, let them have it. People were asking me over the weekend about certain issues. What do we do now? There's nothing you can do. On a large scale, there's nothing you can do. They have been given over to bad philosophy, bad mindsets. It's toxic. Just let them have it. Just let them have it. You remember when in Seattle they had the Chaz and the Chop Zone, and that thing lasted for a little while? People died just in a matter of days. People died, and it was a total fiasco. Just let them have it. You look at California. California was paradise. Up until the early 90s, California was Republican run. It was a paradise. I mean, look at all the natural resources they have in that state. It's a number one economy in the United States in terms of its farming, its agriculture, its ranching, its minerals, all of the beauty that it has. I mean, just absolute incredible state, gorgeous state. And now it is a what? Say it with me. A shithole. That's right, because of Gavin Newsom. You give it over to bad policies, you let ideologies run the narratives, and instead of having some kind of common sense with your justice system or any sense of right and wrong, oh my God, they're going to call you evil. They're going to tell you you're politically incorrect. You got to make everybody happy. You got to cater to the cringiest and the fringiest of the 1% and let them take over. So that now, as in San Francisco, you got maps that tell you where human beings are shitting in the street so you can walk around it. That's right. Lovely San Francisco. You want to know the only nice place that's run by a liberal? It's inside a liberal politician's house, like Nancy Pelosi's mansion there in San Francisco. That's the only nice place in town, but don't be there at 3 a.m. when his queer lover shows up to beat the shit out of him with a hammer. Because even that you can't protect. I'm telling you, folks, if you're in a liberal-run place and it is given over to progressivism, get out. Get out. You're sacrificing the next generation, your children, your children's children. You do not want that garbage in your life. Get out. Name it. Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego. Pick one. Dallas, Austin, El Paso, San Antonio, Houston, New York City, Minneapolis, Baltimore, Atlanta. Pick one. Pick one. Where do you want to be? Some are worse than others, I'll give you that. But damn, tell me where their ideologies, when they're put into practice, put into place, tell me where they work. Everything free, everything entitlement, everything dependent upon the government, everything is a handout, everything is a stimulus, everything is more debt. Let's just raise the debt ceiling. We've already maxed out the money in our credit in the United States. We're already at that point. And now, Karine Jean-Pierre says, well, it's an injustice. It's a travesty if Republican lawmakers don't just go with what the president says and raise the debt ceiling. How dare we not just go further in debt? What could go wrong? What could go wrong? We're entitled to everything. We're entitled to everything. Everybody's supposed to have, equal shares of everything. And if I don't get mine, well, then hell, it ain't fair. Well, get out. Get out, folks. I'm telling you, get out. Well, speaking of which, are the Biden administration's New Year's goals of tax and spend and turn a blind eye to inflation at odds with your goals of securing your savings? When you've finally had enough of the games that government is playing with your savings in retirement, I want you to diversify into gold. And I want you to do it with Birch Gold. Now, I'm tired of my money being impacted by stupid decisions by these goofy-ass leaders in Washington. Now, for over 5,000 years, gold has withstood inflation, geopolitical turmoil, and stock market crashes. And here's the great news. you can still get gold. In fact, you can own gold and silver in a tax-sheltered retirement account. Birch Gold makes it easy to convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in precious metals. And here's what you need to do. Simple. Text CHAD, my name, Chad, to 989898. Claim your free info kit on gold. With almost 20 years experience converting IRAs and 401ks into precious metals IRAs, Birch Gold will help you. Protect yourself with gold today by texting CHAD to the number 989898. They got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers, countless 5-star reviews, and I want you to secure your future with gold. Start today with a free info kit. There's zero obligation. Just make the request. Text Chad to 989898 and get out of those cities. We'll be right back. Look who just dropped in, Sara Gonzales.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
It's a new dress?
Actually, it's an old dress that I was like, I haven't worn that in long enough that it's going to look new.
Well, when you use the words long enough with that dress, not sure it's long enough.
Really?
Yeah, look at you.
Well,
a lot of legs.
you know, I tried.
Got a fresh January tan on.
I do.
Well, you're Mexican. Tell me about your weekend. I haven't seen you.
Well, I went back over the border, obviously.
Did you go down to Guadalajara?
Yeah.
Grab some chips and salsa?
Yeah.
I love it.
From my people. It was good. Just hung out with the kids, you know, did the mom thing. Almost had to go to a drag event and expose it, but they changed it to.
So did you
18
see the footage that Tayler Hansen put out of
Yes.
that particular one? That was Austin?
Yes. Yeah. We sent him to Austin.
What the actual F was that?
Well, Chad, what that was a grown man with his wiener tucked inside of a thong.
Well, I saw some close-ups of it, and it wasn't tucked real good.
Well, you know, with the lack of material that was there, you would imagine that there was just nowhere for it to go.
Yeah.
And, of course, you know, a young child present.
I was sitting there watching because I was like, I wouldn't stay in that.
I mean, I would hope not.
No. I mean, that was like, I've seen more cotton in an aspirin bottle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that dude was really, I mean, you have to laugh a little bit in disgust of just how stupid it is. But there's a kid right there.
Hiding his face at one point, and, you know, I would want to hide my face as well, so.
But, I mean, it was any dude standing on his head doing splits and, wow.
Yeah. And his ass hanging out. It's really disturbing.
We never cared that you did that stuff. We never cared that you did that stuff till you started bringing kids.
And you know, it pisses me off that every time you expose something like this and say something that I guess is now controversial, like, hey, these events should only be 18 and up, and maybe we shouldn't be putting these on for children. And they always send a link to, you know, random pedophiles in churches.
Yeah.
And guess what? Those pedophiles, typically they're sending a link that shows that these people have been charged.
They've been charged. Like, they've been arrested.
What would you like for me to do about this? It sounds like the system is working just fine for these creeps.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the creeps over here, we aren't addressing. So let's address those.
Yeah, let's do all of it. You know, I said on yesterday's show talking about the gay couple, the two guys in Georgia.
Oh, God.
That were sodomizing the children and then pimping them out to.
That story was hard. That was hard to finish.
And you know, and then I brought it up in the thing. I said, look, you know, there's 9 or 10 counts of people in churches in Texas, pastors in Texas, who have had sexual assault charges against minors and things like that. It's like, yeah, and they've been charged.
Right. Exactly.
And we want them to be charged.
Exactly.
I want them choking on their own genitals too.
Absolutely.
I want cut off and shoved down their throat.
Yeah.
With a broomstick.
Right.
Like, there you go.
That's very detailed.
It really is. You want male genitalia in your mouth that bad? We're going to put it all the way down there. You're going to choke on it. We're going to shove it into your diaphragm.
It will be the last thing you ever taste.
That's right. You will die on dick. Which I know that sounds fun on a Friday night. But we're going to do it on a Monday morning. And I'm just like, and I'll laugh just like this while I'm doing it to you. I will shove it down your throat with a broomstick. I will cut it off. I'm not squeamish. I've seen some shit, man. I'm not squeamish. I'll drink a monster like this. I don't know what I'm drinking. Could be the blood of my enemies. tastes the same. I get energized off of it, is what I'm trying to say.
You are on one.
Yeah. No mercy. No quarter, no mercy.
There shouldn't be.
I've gotten real snarky since I turned 50.
Really? Just since then?
Just since
is
then.
That what we're going with?
Yeah,
Okay.
like I've really become an asshole. I have become a get off my lawn kind of person. I have no patience anymore. I said to you the other day, I said, I want a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Because just running my mouth ain't doing it anymore. I want a therapist. Dana Lash, our friend Dana Lash, she made a comment about a movie she watched with Jonah Hill. Is a documentary that he made with his therapist. Have you seen that thing? You should watch it. It's him and his therapist. It's kind of weird, but it's like they made a little documentary about their therapy sessions. And Dana said she loved it because it reminded her of her therapist.
That's funny.
She said it publicly, so I'm not outing that Dana has a therapist. Yeah. Dana needs a therapist. We all do.
I was going to say, if you work in this industry, I feel like we all need
So I started to tell you, I was like, because I don't want to ask Dana. I started to say, hey, ask Dana who her therapist is.
I will.
And I said, and then you said, I'm your therapist. I was like, holy shit, I'm in trouble. But I do rely on you way too much. I feel bad about it.
No.
I share all my problems with you.
Well, that's what best friends are for, I think.
Well, I guess.
I think.
CJ came at me last week with something about, she said, well, you've already shared it with Sarah. And I was like, you don't know that. She goes, I know it. Y'all don't want to get into that nightmare. Good Lord, have mercy. My life.
No, we don't need to.
I'm trying not to white knuckle the steering wheel in life. I'm trying to just let the loose end drag a little bit, but it's getting harder to do when I read these freaking stories and I see a dude dancing around in front of a kid with the giblets hanging out. Mm-hmm. Like I started out, all I wanted to do is make people laugh and tell jokes. Shit ain't funny no more. It's not. It's a crazy world. You can't even make jokes about any of that stuff. It's insane.
Let's say that you were a male stripper.
Okay.
Chad's like, I like where this is going.
Okay.
Let's say that you were a male stripper and you went to an event and you go to perform and you notice in the audience that there is a young girl. Do you still perform in front of that young girl? Do you make it a point to get incredibly close to that young girl and gyrate right in front of her? I mean, it's just like, it's insane to me because I keep hearing the excuse that it's not these people, it's not the drag queen's fault. I mean, yeah, it kind of is.
I did a show December 10th, and a dude, I thought he was having a heart attack in the audience, right?
I remember.
I stopped the show.
Right.
Because something inappropriate.
Wasn't
and again,
right.
It wasn't inappropriate like that, but it was like it would be inappropriate to go on.
Right. Right.
Because out of consideration for the circumstance, we stopped the show and said, hey, this needs to be attended to. So, yeah, I would say that's on a minor elementary level. But when you get on to a deal where you're sexually exploiting a child and exposing yourself to a child, yeah, I think it's time to stop the show.
Right. Like you as a reasonable adult male would say, I'm not comfortable performing nude in front of, or showing my bits or whatever in front of this 8-year-old girl. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
it would be very simple. And yes, it's the parents' fault too, but I'm just saying the blame can be shared.
Someone sent me a message. I sent you a screenshot of it last week. Somebody sent me a message. I'm just sitting at home drinking tequila, watching something on TV. I don't know. And somebody sent me a deal that said they're accusing you in a Twitter space of sexual harassment.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like, my blood pressure doesn't even rise up on that. I was like, well, then they're lying.
Yeah.
Because it's literally never happened.
Right.
Ever. I mean, I've been accused of all kind of weird shit out there in the world. It's just literally never happened.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sexually harassed many, many times. I've been stalked. I've had people make up lies about me. But I listen, there ain't a girl out there. I ain't never kissed a girl that didn't want me to, right? Never done anything with a kid. Listen, never anything that didn't have consent going along with it.
Right.
So, and I live with a very clean conscience when it comes to that. I ran for governor for 2 years, and even the people out there who did come up with all kind of crap, like I was somehow whatever, luring them in some way. I don't even know what their terminology is. Like, I don't even worry about stuff like that because I'm not wired that way. So for the idea that you would do that, not only do that, but do it with a child? or target a child,
Right.
and that's okay? Or you're a venue that allows it to go on under your roof or on your property? It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
They say, oh, y'all are just after the drag queens. No, I really don't care about the drag queens until the children are involved.
Right. No, it's we're not going after the drag queens. The drag queens are going after children.
Right.
Which is why we have to get involved.
Well, what about the churches? I don't care about the pastors either until they hurt the child.
Right.
But
right. Well, I mean, also, you don't go to church for your children to go watch, scantily clad men dance sexually in front of them.
That's right.
That's something that,
and that's the difference. When I take my child into a drag show, I know what I'm taking them in to see.
Exactly.
I don't anticipate my child being abused sexually in a church.
Yep.
Like, I didn't take them there to be exposed to that.
Right.
I took them there for it to be a safe space. If it turns out it's not a safe space, well, then we're going to do some redneck justice, right? But these people are taking their kids in there knowing full well what they're about to expose them to. That's the huge difference on that. And the Riris can't see the difference.
No.
You know? And again, I'd say 90% of these drag shows or anything with LGBTQ community, by and large, they're not trying to target children. I'm not saying that by and large, every time there's a drag show, they're trying to target children. Seems like it's increasingly more and more. Mm-hmm. Just like, 99% of churches out there, you can trust that your kids are safe when they're there too.
Right.
There's anomalies in everything. But the problem is this growing trend. That's what scares me with these drag things. Mm-hmm. So might be time to practice up with iTarget Pro. I'll let you draw the conclusions there. You've heard me talk about iTarget Pro, and if you have one, time to go to the next level. They've got a new product that is something you absolutely need to get. So if you've ever seen the competitive shooter practice timing drills out on the range, well, imagine being able to do that at home and do it anytime you want to do it and never have to spend any money on ammo. So that's what their new iTarget Cube does for you. The iTarget Cube is fully compatible with your existing laser bullets. I just love laser bullets. You can buy one or upgrade to the 3-pack for a really cool, unique training experience. You can compete with your friends and practice the clearing drills and test your ability to react in their random mode, all the while the system times every shot you take. And right now, I'll save 10% for you and also get you free shipping. How about that? If you use offer code CHAD, I spell it Chad, when you go to itargetpro.com. iTarget comes in most calibers, the 9mm, 223, so you can stay proficient and train with almost any firearm you own. It's the easiest, most cost-effective way to train. It pays for itself as soon as you start using it. That's the letter I, targetpro.com, itargetpro.com. Use offer code CHAD, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, my God, I want to wax eloquent. This one's a fun one. This is a fun one, boys. If you're like me, God help you if you are, and you think of the hedonistic pleasure center of the United States, you'd probably immediately think of Idaho, right? Oh, Idaho, so kinky. Yeah, me either. Nevertheless, they're doing their level best to catch up with the Legion Sodom and Gomorrah-esque hotspots vying for control of the title least morally defensible at all times. Now, before I go any further, I should note for any parents out there listening and or watching this, I'm about to get into a little bit of a graphic area, so I'm going to warn you. We're going to show a little bit of a video here in just a second and then talk about it. And if you've got little kids in the room, now might be the time to send them outside. Shoo, skedaddle, get. If they don't know what the word outside means, tell them it's like a phone screen but much bigger. All right, send them outside. Okay, now that we've shooed the kiddies away, let's get uncomfortable about some Idaho-style sex ed. This is from a program called Condom Sense. Brandon, play the video.
So you found the right partner and you two have decided to have sex. You've got some mood music, sexy lighting, and of course, condoms. You probably think you know everything about those. So it seems like you're both ready to go. Well, almost. Did you know that condoms are your only contraceptive option that can help prevent both unintended pregnancy and STIs, and are 98% effective when used consistently and correctly? Let's make sure you know how to use that condom the right way.
Okay, now it would be easy for me to get up on my moral high horse and immediately consign to flames of woe anyone who would participate in the making of, distributing of, and teaching of such materials. We on the conservative right have had a visceral and sometimes knee-jerk reaction to sex ed for as long as it's been around, and most of that reaction is well-founded, but it's often not explicated to the degree that would make sense to someone on the pro side of the debate. So let's begin by just agreeing that this is something really bad and then delve into why it's really bad. Now, put simply, this is grooming, all right? This is what we mean when we say grooming. It's part of that whole phenomenon, and indeed, it's one of the oldest elements of it because they've been teaching sex ed in school for decades at this point. And while you and I might look at this cute little cartoon video aimed at, and I shit you not, it's aimed at ninth graders. While we might look at that and hear the red alert klaxons going off in our heads, the truth is, it's not much different than what was being taught 30, 40 years ago. It's just illustrated better. No, the real danger here is in the ideological substrate that undergirds it. As always with leftism, look to the first principles if you want to see what they're really up to. Now, on the surface, you get statements of care, which are no doubt genuine coming from some of them. The main argument for the need prescribed by the leftist education system for a robust sexual education can be broken down as follows. Kids are going to have sex. Telling them to remain abstinent until they're older does nothing but ignore this fact and will lead to a lot of unwanted pregnancy and the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. Yep, that's all true. People on the right don't want to face the facts sometimes, but that is one. And the response to this shouldn't be, well, if we teach abstinence to them long enough and loud enough, they'll stop. No, they won't. Some of them will. You might tip the ratio a bit, but the most important part, what you're dealing with is collateral damage, because here's the actual response you give to that statement. Yep, so it's not the public education system's job to instill moral precepts in my children or remove them for that matter. It's your job to teach my children. Teach my children. It goes back to the whole teach them how to think, not what to think principle, because A, they're not up to the job, and B, that's not what they're really after. If you don't think that things like this video and the rising preponderance of evidence suggesting our society is moving towards a period of acceptance towards things like pedophilia, you need to get out more. Outside. It's kind of like your phone screen, but a whole lot bigger, remember? Finally, I would be remiss if I didn't build at least something of a bridge between me and the weirdos who feel it necessary to animate what might well amount to their fantasies about your children. Kids, if any of you are still listening out there, wrap it before you tap it. Prather out. My moral exertions always tend to fall at the end. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of like, I ruined it. I always just kind of ruin it. Like, nobody looking to me for the moral high ground. I'm just telling you philosophically what the underpinnings are. I'm telling you what the foundations are here. And, yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't get over that cartoon animation and what that guy had on his face. He had like little red dots on his face.
What were those?
I don't know. That's why I want to know. Was he bleeding? Were they zits? I don't know.
I think it's theoretically supposed to be acne because he is a teenager.
Because he's a teenager.
Okay, so there's zits.
Yeah, and she had her little boobs in her bra. Her little
yes, that's
animated
typically
boobs.
Where we keep them.
Her little boobs were drawn in her little bra. They were little teenage boobs.
I don't know. I thought they looked like...
Looking back at the screen, we're not going to show you the animated tits again. There they are. They're holding a pile of condoms.
Wow. I know. I'm like, how many times are these people planning on having sex tonight? Good Lord. He must have...
Yeah, well, when I was a kid,
mind.
when I was 18 years old.
You popped a Viagra and went all night?
No, I didn't need a Viagra. Lord, I needed something to dull it down. The wind would blow. You know what, though? I will tell you this. On a side note, folks out there listening, if you ain't horny, you ain't healthy. That's true. Your body's trying to tell you something. Your kids are raging with hormones. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Your kids are raging with hormones. I mean, they're raging with everything from curiosity to lust to, like I said, the wind blows. Yeah. And then you're going to put a cartoon in front of them that not only animates it, seriously, but exacerbates what's going on and basically says, it's okay.
Right.
As long as you do this.
Right.
Sex is not something that you do to just fulfill an animalistic desire that's okay to just fulfill with anybody.
Well, I would say it is to a lot of people, and that's a problem.
And unfortunately, it's not. Listen, sex is a spiritual thing.
Right.
It is a bond that you never get over. I mean, and if you do, there's something spiritually unhealthy about you, right? So you start pushing this stuff out there with kids, and people say, "Oh, see, you're reasoning like an adult. Like I can watch that and I can laugh at it. We can make fun of how many condoms, but you put that in the mind of a 14-year-old,
right,
who's struggling with hormones.
Yeah,
I mean, who gets aroused at a commercial,
right?
Much less what they see on their Instagram deals. It's not good. And the next steps are what? Sexual gratification. It can be through pornography. It could be through self-gratification, masturbation, all these different things. And what are you doing? You're dumbing yourself down. I mean, you're literally desensitizing yourself and basically giving yourself a curse so that you're going to have a hard time finding sexual gratification when you truly do find a partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with. It's going to be harder and harder to escape those addictions. And you've got your public school systems putting that in their brain. You're like, oh, you're such a prude. You're something against them sex education. Listen, my dad told me, he said, son, wait till you get married before you have sex. This is when I was 13 years old. He said, if you get to a point where you got to have a woman, then put a damn rubber on. He goes, because if you knock somebody up, I'm going to kill you. That was the sex talk. And you know what? I never got anybody pregnant unless I was trying to. Not everybody can say that. And that's whatever. For me, my dad put the fear of God in me. Because whether I was scared of God, I was scared of my dad. Because he would have killed me. I don't know. We got anything else? We're done. I was just talking.
I mean,
What keeps your animal desires at bay?
God. That's not a question I'm going to answer.
You and Steven just like, rawr!
Obviously,
y'all are like
yes.
wild animals.
Yes.
Y'all are. I hear stories.
Wait, what?
From you.
Oh.
You're my therapist.
Wait, the therapist isn't supposed to be sharing that information.
That's my point exactly.
No wonder you don't pay me.
There's a lot of jokes I'm going to leave alone right there. We got we had a weird relationship, Sarah. I know things. Animalistic, I tell you.
Well,
But it pisses me off. Somebody said to me the other day, when I called out Greg Abbott, and somebody said, oh, finally something we agree on. The only thing is you need to include higher wages for teachers. I was like, you really don't want to hear what I got to say about that.
Oh, no.
How about let's just abolish the public school system?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. How about that? Why am I going to do higher wages for people that support a union that puts out crap like this? So, again, you're not innocent. You teachers out there, you're not innocent. You still support a union, particularly in Texas, that is as bad as they come.
Yep.
So I'm not letting you off the hook on that deal. God bless you, but I'm not letting you off the hook on that. All right, hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, let's Let's go over to these video clips here, Mark. Look at the second column, that one over there on the Euro Commission VP. You see that one there? Play that clip, buddy.
Well, we need the people who understand the language and the case law in the country, because what qualifies as hate speech, as illegal hate speech, which you will have soon also in the US. I think that we have a strong reason why we have this in the criminal law. We need the platforms to simply work with the language and to identify such cases. The AI would be too dangerous.
So what she's saying is hate speech will soon be illegal in the US. Screw that bitch.
It sure as shit ain't.
Yeah.
Yeah. These people really should educate themselves on, like, the foundations of America.
Yeah.
before they say stupid shit like that. and of course, who can expect Brian Potato Head Stelter to push, maybe give some sort of a pushback, maybe ask a follow-up question about like, well, why would you think that would happen in America? Doesn't America have, like Constitution? Doesn't America have founding principles that would prevent that from being a thing?
Yeah. No, well, not when you got a vice president of the United States who omits, endowed by our creator with certain inalienable rights like life.
Mm-hmm.
She says liberty and pursuit of happiness, but she leaves out life. So they're changing the documents, right?
Yep.
That's okay. Al Gore. Oh, the bright light, which is Al Gore. Gore. Al Gore had an admission there at the WEF. Play that clip.
In my country, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act, which is primarily a climate act.
What?
$369 billion, which will actually be much larger than that because the heavy lifting is done by tax credits that are very long term, some of them actually open-ended, and the early investments that have already been triggered by it give a great deal of many reasons for believing it's going to be much larger than $369 billion. So I'm very encouraged by that.
Are you? I mean, seeing as you became a billionaire with this climate bullshit, I'm sure you are thrilled about it. Because how much of that grift is coming your way? When I see Al Gore, I want to strap on one of those cartoon condoms. I mean, that's how fired up I get right there.
Wait.
I just roll that beautiful bean footage, man. I tell you what, woof, he turns me on. Al Gore. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No?
No.
Oh, I thought he was like a sex symbol.
You said he had an admission. I thought you said emission.
Well,
and I was
definitely
wondering,
ejaculated.
Did he pass gas or?
No,
okay.
he ejaculated orally from his mouth with a lot of bullshit. But he was telling the truth. The money's coming to that.
Yeah.
Right? And
well, it's really frustrating watching the coverage of this event because just all of the names that we get called for talking about things like, I don't know if we're allowed to say it even on YouTube, but the amazing do-over and, all of these things that when you go to the World Economic Forum's website, it's all listed right in the website, exactly what they want to do. And it all matches up with what we're telling people that they want to do. It all is true. All the globalism, everything, it's all true. They say it themselves, and we're the crazy ones for actually saying that these things exist that exist. It's so frustrating when you hear these elitists go up there on the stage, and they're admitting all of the things that we're saying.
That's right. That's right. That's why, we talked about that Mall of America deal where they kicked that dude out for wearing the Jesus Saves t-shirt. Now at realwomen'sclub.com, you can get a Jesus Saves t-shirt. Yeah. So... Because that's the only thing. He's the only one that can save us at this point. I mean, unless we could get some mythological, God to come down to throw a lightning bolt and just burn up the whole place. We better start believing in the real God because the judgment is coming. Speaking of mythology, you've heard the story of Achilles. Achilles in his heel, and the reason he was weak in his heel is because his mother held him by the heel when she dipped him into the river Styx to give him immortal life. They never talk about his twin brother Bophades. Bophades she held by the testicles and dipped him into the river Styx. So you know about Achilles' heel, but you don't know about Bophades' nuts.
How do you come up with this?
I didn't come up with that. That's another one. Bophades' nuts.
You said Achilles, and I thought you were gonna. Did you see that Wheel of Fortune clip?
Yeah, Achilles.
Oh my God, that was painful.
Yeah.
And he got it wrong.
God bless him. God love you.
Ugh.
As Joe Biden would say, God love you. God love you.
Not a joke.
Did you hear did you hear the little clip? I don't think it's real, but you hear the clip that he supposedly leaves a voicemail for Hunter?
No.
You heard that thing?
No.
Where he says, they're not going to let up on this. It sounds just like him. I'll play the clip for you another time. Maybe You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's go to break, boys. And that'll give some time in the final deal. And we'll get this clip and we'll play it for you.
Okay. All right, great.
All right, be right back. All right. Without further ado,
Okay.
this is an alleged voicemail between Joe Biden calling his son Hunter
Okay.
in regards to these documents. Now, I think this is a fake,
Okay.
but whoever did this is a genius. I'm going to play it.
Hey, pal, it's Dad. Look, I don't think they're going to get off my ass about these documents. I know that there's at least, I want to say 5 more places that I can remember that they are. Listen, use the red cell phone, call up Barack and Michelle, tell them Operation Crash and Burn is a go. Do this immediately, please. All right, love you, pal. Bye.
Wow.
Joe's not that articulate anymore.
No, but that was a really good voice.
Yeah. Whoever did that did a good job.
Yeah. That's really funny.
Operation Crash and Burn is a go.
That is
Call
really
Barack
funny.
and Michelle. Love you, pal.
That's really good.
But
But I'm
I'm reasonably
sure-
certain at this point that crackhead Hunter cannot pick up the red cell phone and call Barack or Michelle.
Right. They've got his number blocked.
Pretty much.
Well, also, I'm reasonably confident that a similar conversation probably was had.
Yeah.
It just, as you pointed out, was not as articulate.
No. And by the way, remembering 5 other places where documents could be,
Right.
Joe doesn't remember that.
No, probably not. Well, that's what I've said for a while now is like, if he ever gets repercussions for any of the bad stuff that he's done, the corrupt stuff that he's done, and he is on the stand testifying, and he is asked if he recalls something, he could say, I don't recall that. And you would have no idea if he was lying or if that was completely true because he's so,
100%.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you
He's so
realize now
senile.
that Ronald Reagan was in the beginning of Alzheimer's whenever he was testifying in the Iran-Contra thing, and he did remember. So,
Right.
you know, the Joe, we already know you got dementia.
Yeah, it's like, how do you convict him?
Yeah.
I'm reasonably certain he probably does not remember.
Can't do it. Can't do it. All right. I love you, girl. I love my therapist.
Yeah.
I love Sara Gonzales.
love you too.
American Beauty by Sarah.
Thank you.
.com.
Yes.
And,
yes.
All right. Joplin, Missouri, you're in trouble. We're coming Friday night, and we're bringing all of the alpha testosterone we got in our bodies. And trust me, it's a lot. It's a lot. So we'll see you at the Roxy Entertainment Center Friday night. Get your tickets at chadpratherlive.com. Then February 3rd, just me, and all my toxicity is going to be right there in Fort Wayne, Indiana at Pierre's. So, again, get your tickets, chadpratherlive.com. I want you guys to not miss out and join us at Blaze TV by being a partner with us. Go to blazetv.com/Chad and use promo code Chad and save $10 on an annual subscription. You will not regret it. We don't want you missing overtime, folks. I'm giving you the nuggets of wisdom. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday. We love you. God bless you. Talk to you then. Bye.